try it this way. End of the day, we're actually, I got the coffee brewing. The coffee is brewing over there. We're going to do this in a two-parter. We're going to do an episode of Open Hours and also After Hours. Promptly after I'm done delivering tonight. So, a few things that I've been working on today. We got to finish up this one. That's the Friday train wreck. That's the thing I wasn't looking forward to doing, but all in all, it's not bad. Basically, this customer, you've seen this computer before. It is the motherboard with the bad FPC connector where they had plastic wedged in to lock down the power button and the keyboard. The trackpad one was not broken. It got a motherboard replacement and also a keyboard replacement. However, when you get some keyboards, you don't end up with a trim plate. That's what I was thinking. I was looking for the word, stuttering on the word. And the other thing from the thumbnail, boy oh boy, that's actually over here on this guy. We're doing a data recovery on it. And that's the Nightmare Dell. So we have the programs in. We are going to install, we're going to shut this down quick. We still have to reinstall their office and bring their data back over, but quick, I want to get the physical related work done with this one. So let's jump on here. We're going to get a refill on the cup of coffee. I'll let you watch that. Another thing, I mean, maybe some people can do it. I'm sure there's really talented people out there, much so more than myself. But when working on building a website, when you're doing it from one person to another, you would think they would be kind of similar, and I guess in some sense they are. You're building a website on both. However, no, going from Squarespace to WordPress, two entirely different things. Alright, we got some fresh coffee for these last few minutes of the day. Let's take a look at this. I'm actually adding a post. This is on the, dtcomputers.online website. Working on putting the Open Hours playlist. And I want to put a little what it's about here. Well, what it's about here, I guess, is the plan anyways. We'll put what it's about there, and I have the playlist here. I thought about doing separate videos, but then you end up with a big, long page, so we're not going to do it that way. And then I'm going to do a section, probably under this, for After Hours. Just, like I said, little by little. But going from the whole Squarespace way of building things to the WordPress way is, WordPress is, I think, substantially more customizable, and I guess you can do some custom CSS here, and I don't know about HTML, but you can do your own custom things, but that is way so far out of my league. Different wheelhouse, different forte, not for this guy at all. Alright, let's hop on over here. We'll go with that one. Alright, we did get shut down. We're going to go ahead and unplug. Flip it shut quick, pull the battery. Whenever disconnecting anything physically from a computer, you want to make sure and kill the power. When you're talking about those physical connections, whether it be sticks of RAM, a processor, and maybe a desktop perhaps, sticks of RAM and laptop, anything physical, and yes, that includes keyboards, trackpads, and power buttons. Disconnect the power, pull the battery if it has a battery, and then hit your power button, and that will bleed off any power that is still in the system. So let's go ahead and pop up this FPC connector, pull this out, flip it closed, and we're going to see how our trim plate is going to work. Now these, basically how this works is when you order a keyboard replacement, and if it's a keyboard that has these chiclet style keys and has a trim plate on it, usually you can find them, but depending on the computer, it's all computer, depends on the computer whether you're going to find a keyboard replacement with that trim plate. In this case we didn't, so yes, a new functioning working keyboard. However, we had to pull the old trim plate off. These, when you're talking an Apple computer, you're dealing with lots of screws removing a keyboard from some of the newer ones, and it's a nightmare. Some of the newer MacBook Pros and the MacBook, the little 12-inch MacBooks, we're talking PC here, just not unique, but only PC keyboards. The trim plate is on and it comes through and has all these little black pop rivets on the back. So they're not pop rivets, but they're like, it's black plastic where it came through and they had melted it down. You can usually break some of them off, and then when you put the trim plate on and snap it back into place on the new one, you will have a little bit of plastic sticking through, and you can go ahead and melt it down with something hot, preferably an old soldering iron. Don't ruin your good, damn it, don't ruin your good soldering iron trying to do that. Don't ruin your good soldering iron trying to, I'll give that a minute to catch up. Don't ruin your good one trying to melt plastic with it. Definitely not recommended. So we do have some plastic sticking through here. I can see that already. We're going to go ahead and pop this trim plate in. It does have these little sections where the plastic sticks off of the metal part of the keyboard, and that's what helps lock it into the laptop. As for now though, we're going to go ahead and push that through and get our soldering iron, our old soldering iron, heated up, and go ahead and melt these back into place real quick. So let's fire this one up. We do have a few minutes here, and I would say 15-20 minutes isn't enough time to have a train wreck, so that's why we're doing this in a two-parter. We'll do an open hours, and then later tonight an after hours, when after hours is, it's an appropriate time to do an after hours.
Good, how you doing?
Ooh. Hey Jim, you're live on the internet right now, just letting you know.
What's that?
You're on the internet right now. Not you, but the internet can hear you. I'm doing a live stream. What do you need anyhow? Here, let me mute the mic. Okay. Apologies, people. Some people just don't want to talk and be heard on...
You say something?
No, I'm talking to the internet. Some people don't want to talk and be heard by the internet, so occasionally I do have to mute the microphone. I should put a sign up out front, like walking through the door is a verbal and mental agreement to signing. What are those things you have to sign? Release? Or what's the form? Like if you're doing something that you can't come back on people? Oh, yeah, we can't do it that way. So, now that I'm back here, let's, I can talk over what I've been doing. Basically, you stick your trim through and you will have the little pieces of plastic sticking back through the holes where they were when you popped them out of your old scrap keyboard. So, once you get them sticking through and you have your old hot soldering iron, basically you just want to touch the plastic real quick and melt it. Aside from that, you also want to get that plastic sticking through as far as possible so you have as much to melt as possible. Not only that, another thing I found that helps hold it is when you're melting it, obviously you just want to touch it quick to melt the plastic tab down. Another thing you can do is after you melt it down, drag it sideways and it kind of melts that plastic to the metal backing of the keyboard. Alright. So I guess it turned out to be partially a train wreck after all. We had an interruption. I'm here melting plastic with a soldering iron, not its intended use at all. But we're going to see what we can get accomplished very quickly here. It is the end of the day. The get your stuff and go alarm is about to sound. We're going to stay a few minutes after that just to try and tack down this keyboard for these people. They would like to come pick their computer up. It's probably going to be a tomorrow thing. So, apologies, I don't think you and your family watched this live stream. We're going to tell you about it. Maybe you can go and watch it and you can see your keyboard actually, the trim plate being swapped over to your new keyboard. Quick story, another thing I did is at that time, I'm surprised it hasn't chimed. Oh, look at that. Goodness. Okay. Another quick story, another time when I was doing one of these, swapping a trim plate onto a keyboard using a soldering iron. You can get new trim plates. In this instance, we could not find the trim plate to match the keyboard. If they did have it where we looked online, the few places, it was labeled incorrectly because we could not find it. But I was doing the same thing, swapping or putting a new trim plate on and melting it quick. Melting the plastic tabs in the back to hold it on, and I ended up slipping. It was, I think, the second or third time maybe I had done this type of repair, and I slipped in the soldering and I hit the ribbon cable and ruined the brand new keyboard. So I had to end up buying another keyboard. The second keyboard I bought, though, came with a trim plate on. It was brand new, trim plate installed. So that slip and that accident, although it cost me about another $15 and another 2 to 3 days of wait time, and people not being happy about the extra wait time, I did get a keyboard that was fully assembled and not put together like it was, or not put together with a soldering iron, which I don't know how they do it at the factory. It's like a similar thing. The plastic goes through something, I'm guessing a robot or a person goes across the back, just touching something with something hot. Soldering iron? No, but probably something real similar. So it's trying to hit all these tabs and lock this trim plate in as good as we can. We are missing a little piece of the plastic, so that is why we're missing the very back edge of it, which was just a little thin piece. But if you melt all these and get them popped through far enough, it will hold if you do find yourself in the position where you're recycling the trim plate for a keyboard. Is it going to hold up like the new one? No. Maybe better, maybe worse. I've had both results from that. So sorry for flashing the camera with that glare. I've got to check back in with my friend and see how he's making out with his website and the t-shirts. Whenever that goes online, I will be making some more posts about that. Go check that out. If you do smoke and want to quit, I highly, really do suggest giving vaping a try. Is it 100% safe? I don't know. I don't know the facts. I've never done the research. But I do know one thing. I believe one thing. That it is safer than cigarettes because it is nicotine and not 4,000 other, or however many hundreds or thousands of chemicals added in with it. Of course, then again, who knows? Big vaping. They may be out to get us. No, I don't know. It's just, Big Brother, Big Pharma. Making a joke there. Okay, so we have about 3/4 of the tabs melted in. This trim plate install is going fairly good for being rushed and doing it. Trying to wrap this up at the end of the day. I don't know where the man is, but I guess we could find out soon enough. If I get this done before it's time to literally drop it and run out the door, I'm going to try and give Dave a call and see where it be, and he could possibly sit and let them come pick up their computer tonight. The computer was made great again. Happy computer, happy people. Hopefully that's what we're shooting for. Hey, you go back in there. Like that. Okay, trim plate in. What was I saying? Oh, vaping, yeah. Once the website's out, go check it out. If you want to show support, and I do believe, I don't know what percentage, so don't quote me on 50%, but I do know a good percentage of all shirts sold is going to a cause. And that will be listed on the website with the t-shirts. This is in reference to the I Got Wicked at EB Vape Addicts Phillipsburg, PA shirt. Wicked Juice It, Vape It on the back, the shirt that I was wearing yesterday. I made a few posts about it. Waiting on, I'm pretty much anybody who wants to check it out, you're waiting on the website to be published. Any little fine changes are being put in. Uh-oh, what is that? We got another horn sound. Oh, that was the 425er to try and remind me. Okay. What is it going to look like here? Let's see if we can do this. See, some of these are just a little worrisome. And why? Because there's no actual plastic on the back. So I'm going to throw one of the old tabs on the spot where there's not a pin coming through. And we're going to try and melt it down through to hit that old trim. And possibly that will work. I guess you could do that if you had like a pointy or soldering iron. Melt them all down through, but no, that's working out great. So far, so good. The trim plate is staying on the keyboard. So, where are we at? We left off on this corner. A few more to go, people. A few more to go, and the train wreck of keyboard trim replacement will be over. Okay, there's another one where the old plastic tab falls short. That means it broke off a little longer of a piece. However, one on both sides of it and the one behind it should be enough to hold it. After we get these on, we will go ahead and melt some plastic onto that one from the back. Ooh, that's hot. Soldering iron on a glove. Soldering iron on a glove. People not recommended. Okay. Where are we at? There and there. I know it's probably hard to see, and I keep putting my big head in the way, but only trying to get it wrapped up. Hey, there's the man. You live on the air? You've won a prize?
What kind?
Well, you get to sit and wait for these people to come pick this up. I gotta go here in a few. Where's Frank?
I just come back from the doctor.
Oh, everything good? You want to throw that out online? You're not dying. You're not dead, obviously. Yeah. Did they tell you you're not dying?
Yeah, they told me to come up on the 30th because I was about 20 minutes late.
Oh, okay.
I got into traffic.
Traffic is nuts, man.
I was in Dubois at like 10 minutes till 3. And I didn't get to over there till 20 after 3.
That's rough, man. Don't say that, man. Well, I've never lived there. Traffic. I have a good traffic. Yeah, that traffic will get you over there. We had traffic and construction mess up on the way to my wife's dentist appointment. So, all right, let me check a couple of these other tabs and see. Yeah, it's not going to come through there. No. How many more of these can we get in the limited amount of time that I have? Oh yeah, we're going to get a lot of these in. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. By no means an exciting repair. Believe me, I know. I am the one doing it. And that's why I called it a train. It is a train wreck of shorts, but we're going to give everybody that does watch this and hopefully is entertained at least part of the time. We're going to give them some more time tonight and do an after hours to make this train wreck even worse.
That is fresh coffee.
Yeah, that's some fresh coffee, man.
Got the new furnace going in. Hooked up on the tent.
Dang, you're getting everything done, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I think. I think we have one more here. Overall, out of all these tabs that I had to remount to put this trim plate back on this keyboard, I'm not going to go through and count them, but I'm thinking there's like 4 or 5 that were just a hair too short to come back through. And I don't know what that makes. I don't know what the total number of them is, but I would say that's, yeah, that's a pretty good rate. There's a good amount of plastic, melted plastic, just like it was, only not from the factory. We had to do that here. So there's a good amount of it holding this keyboard trim back on. I'm gonna say, I believe it's good. Let that plastic cool down. We'll hit a couple around the edge again. And that is that. Let's switch it off. Okay. Trim is back on the keyboard. Old keyboard missing the trim. That one we will keep just for keys and other parts. This can go back into the laptop. And I think that's going to do it. It is 4:31. So it's definitely almost to that point where you got to get it and go. We're going to go take dinner to people and do what we do, what we does. Alright, let's lock that in. Good, good, good. And then put this in. come out of there. You. Okay, now it's in. Now the edges are not so important because there are actual little tabs sticking out to lock the edge of this down. However, if you just had the edge of the trim plate locked down without going and melting it across, melting the little tabs that were on the inside of the keyboard, what would happen is the trim plate would potentially pop off, and that we don't want. So that was the reason for that repair there. Let's go ahead, stick the battery in and get it powered up. We will let Dave continue working on this one. He's got it. He's got the necessary skills. We got him trained up, sent him to PC boot camp. I don't even think that's the real thing. I just made that up right now. We're going to unplug the old soldering iron that we turned off. It did us well. If you do have an old soldering iron, keep it around. You can use it for things like melting plastic and melting foam, melting other things, cutting things. If it's the gun type, you can actually make tips for it that will, you can cut out pretty unique shapes with foam. So kind of like hot wire cutting, but not. That's it for today. I don't have it done yet, but I'm going to say again, we got dtcomputers.online, the website. I am adding the OpenHours series to the website. I don't have it done yet. It should be, or yeah, I did. I have it there, but I haven't finished it. So the OpenHours playlist is going to be there. After Hours will also be there eventually, and probably just some links to the YouTube channel in general. I do have, I forget what I have at the bottom, but going back here, thanks again for watching. Everyone that does watch, we're going to be back again tonight. Remember, the train wreck will continue at, I don't know what time. When I'm done working, we're doing After Hours tonight, so tune back in then if you're up late. And we will see what fun we could get into. Once again, thank you, people. See you back at the train wreck.